Hi, I'm Sean Kosofsky, the Nonprofit Fixer, and today I want to talk about nonprofit coaching skills, the 6 essential coaching skills that nonprofit managers need. In order to supervise people in the nonprofit sector, we have to motivate them with things other than usually salary or stock options, all the things you might be have available to you in the private sector. So when we're thinking about compensation, we're thinking about motivation, we're thinking about how to supervise and guide people. Some of them are very drawn to this work and very driven by the mission and can even blur some lines around why they're actually here doing the job, right? So sometimes you'll have people drawn to our sector who are so passionate but might not have the skills to lead. So we have a very interesting sector. But there are some coaching skills that I want to talk about today that are essential for managers to have. And so we're going to kind of go through these. I have a blog post on this where I go a lot deeper on it, but I wanted to do a video just for those of you who wanted a high level kind of like approach to this. So first of all, let's talk about what nonprofit management coaching is. It's basically any set of tools that a supervisor or manager or director, including the executive director, uses to get better performance from an employee. Many times, coaching is about helping the employees see their own power and their own options and make their own choices and not give advice. Very often, coaching is really about helping someone, an individual, be the best personally and professionally that they can be. And so you use a set of tools. It could be an evaluation, it could be sessions, one-on-one sessions, it could be a little bit of like written instruments. There's all these different things you can do. But in general, that's what coaching is when you're in a managerial sort of situation versus an independent coach like myself, which might use a different set of tools. You can be provided by anyone. Coaching can be by someone who is a lateral worker to you in the organization, or someone who's above you, or even someone who's below you in the organizational chart. Coaching can happen from someone who's not necessarily a subject matter expert or someone with more seniority. It could happen from anyone who's good at coaching and getting people to perform at their best. You'd be surprised who makes a good coach. But who can benefit? Pretty much everyone. I wouldn't generally do a lot of coaching for low performing employees. If they're in trouble and they're on their way out or they're on a performance improvement plan, coaching is not likely to help as much. You can guide them, you can shape them, you can do a lot of different interventions, but coaching is normally for regular workers and high performing workers. Lower performing workers, the kind of coaching I'm talking about might not be the best investment, especially if you are having to bring in an outside coach. If you're doing it yourself as a manager, there are some techniques here you can use, but if you don't have the right fit employee, they might not work for that employee. First skill is to make time for it. You literally can't just assume that coaching is going to happen at some point. You need to make time in your calendar once a week, once every other week to have little check-ins. They can happen during your check-ins with your direct reports, but definitely make the time. And the world is busy. It's all happening to us, and we can very easily just want to move on to get work done. But the coaching is the work. So make time for it for your people that you are supervising. You're going to want to assess and address mindset, tool set, and skill set issues. Mindset issues might be limiting beliefs. It might be the way they're thinking about something or the way they're approaching a problem. Also, the tool set that they're using, giving them the right tools so they can get the job done. They might not have the right tools or seen the right instruments to getting it done. And tools don't have to be paper or software. They could literally be an approach, a rubric. And the skill set is the third one, tool set, mindset, skill set. The skill set is really about helping them practice and get better at the core functions they need to be good at to do their job. The third skill is to be compassionate. It's really important to have empathy and to understand that people come to us and come to this work from a variety of different things. Some folks might be neurodivergent, some folks might have trauma, some folks might have a wide range of things that have happened to them in their lives or are happening to them now. So just be really compassionate when you're coaching because it's easy to slip into a judging mode or an accusatory mode, especially if you're dealing with performance. The fourth skill is to really prioritize authenticity. What I mean by that is sometimes as a manager or a boss or a supervisor, we feel like we need to exude this really strong, confident, we have it all under control sort of like thing. And sometimes we don't. We don't know. We're muddling our way through this work like anybody else, and just being authentic about where you are also growing and where you also are developing is totally fine. Listening thoughtfully. So when you're coaching and when you're supervising someone, you really want to be listening because you're going to hear problems underneath the problems. You're going to hear patterns. You're going to see concerns that are actually underlying some of these things. Only good listeners are going to uncover what's really happening across the team and across the organization and across time. So definitely be listening thoughtfully. That's a critical skill. And you're going to want to spend some money on this. If you're not going to do the coaching in-house and you want to bring in an external person like me or another coach, definitely spend the money. It's one of the best dollar investments you can do for professional development is to invest in coaching. Now, there are a couple other tips I want to add here that you should factor into and think about, and they're in the blog post about this same topic. Create space for success and failure. This is one of the tips I love. Essentially, you want to make it okay for some people to fail and fail spectacularly. Sometimes you need to do that, including letting your board members or your employees mess up a task right in front of their peers. You don't want it to be a high stakes or really important one, but sometimes failure or falling down can help be the best teacher. So just think about that a little bit when you're coaching. You also want to listen for themes. So earlier we talked about listening across the organization, across staff, but are there themes? Are there topic areas? Is it clear that people are really confused about delegation or are people are really confused about the mission? Listen for themes. It will help you as a manager and as a supervisor. You also want to speak truth. Don't sugarcoat things and don't tell people things that aren't true because you don't want to hurt their feelings. Of course, you should say things respectfully and professionally, but you need to say what needs to be said. So speak the truth in your coaching. People will appreciate it, learn how to deliver it in a good way, and you'll perform better as manager over time, and people will appreciate you. You're also going to want to help create connections. One of the greatest things about being a supervisor or a boss or a manager is connecting people with other folks who are doing something really well or someone else who has resources, maybe even providing cross training so someone can go meet with other people and see how they're doing a similar job. But create connections, open doors, introduce them to interesting people that are relevant to their sector or their job or their career. Cultivate vision. Managers need to point people in the right direction. This is where we're headed. This is why all of this stuff matters. Every single thing we're doing actually counts toward the mission and the vision of the organization. We need leaders to be doing that, or else people might not connect the dots. And it does matter when it comes to productivity and motivation. And finally, embrace accountability. Sometimes we don't want to have difficult conversations with our employees because they're not performing well, or we just make up all these excuses for why they're nice people and why we shouldn't have to address a certain behavior problem. So we need to hold people accountable. Our missions are too important. We're not selling widgets, we're saving the world. So therefore, we need to hold people to high standards and guide them towards success, even if it means having difficult conversations. So these are some of the coaching skills that I think managers need to have. Let me know what you think down below. Hit subscribe if you like this and give me some comments down below about what you think. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much.